when and how to go full-time as a voice actor, and should you do it? Stay tuned to find out. Hello and welcome back. For those of you new to the channel, my name is Jesse Carroll, and today we are talking about going full-time as a voice actor and should you do it? This is a question that I get in my community a lot. A lot of people want to jump to being full-time right away, but this is something you can take your time with. So before we get into this, we have to define what does it mean to be full-time as a voice actor? Are we talking about a full-time income, making a certain amount of money every month? Are we talking about putting full-time hours into it, like 40 hours a week? Or are we talking about having voiceover as our only job? The only thing you do is you're full-time in voiceover. You do nothing else. And for the purposes of today's talk, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about being a full-time voice actor. You're doing nothing else. Voiceover is your only source of income. Now, a lot of you have probably seen one of my first videos called How I Got Started in Voiceover. And in that, I talk about how I went full-time right away because I lost my nightclub management job. So I had a whole bunch of time to put it into voiceover. I learned how to do it and I started making money right away, and I went full-time within 3 months. There's another part of that story. I didn't stay full-time as a voice actor. I mean, I was making full-time income pretty quickly, but I got another nightclub management job and I just went down on my shifts. I continued working as a nightclub manager until the pandemic hit. And then once that happened, I was done. That's it. I was finished. But the thing is, having a second job that didn't conflict with voiceover helped me not be desperate, put food on the table whenever there was lean months, and there's going to be lean months in voiceover. So save your money, I'd say, have an emergency fund. But having a second job takes a lot of the pressure off. And voiceover it's a lonely journey. A lot of the time you're just in a closet or in a booth or whatever you're recording in. You're in that for hours a day on your own, and your only direct human contact is maybe the family you live with if you live with people, or if you're a single guy you live on your own like me, your only direct contact with people is clients and then friends when you decide to go out for dinners or parties or whatever it is you do. So it's not an overly social job, and having a second income and a second job can help you with that as well. A lot of voice actors like to have I'm a full-time voice actor as a badge of honor, but there's a lot of stuff that goes along with that people don't talk about. You get lonely. It can be scary when you're not sure when you're going to get your next job. I do really well as a voice actor now. At the beginning of every month, I always have projections of what I'm going to do. And there's always like some kind of negative thought that creeps in my head. Like, what if I have the worst month ever this month? You want to make sure you have an emergency fund so you just in case the worst happens. But what I'm saying is, being a full-time voice actor isn't something you have to do. Don't let your ego get involved. It's not a badge of honor, but it's great if you can do it. So how do you do it? How do you go full-time? How do you know when you're ready to be a full-time voice actor if you want to have it as your sole form of income? Well, it's pretty simple. What you want to do is you want to look at all your monthly expenses, from like if you have rent, house payments, what it costs to put food on the table, if you have family that you're paying for, all that stuff. Just pile it all together, find out what you pay every month. Now, does your voiceover income exceed that? Be honest with yourself. Track it. If you're not tracking how much you're making on a monthly basis in voiceover, then don't even think about going full-time yet. Get that simple business skill down first. As soon as you're tracking your voiceover income and you can predict it, you know what your booking ratio is, your average booking rate, all that stuff, all the good numbers, all the stuff I talk about, then you can look and see, like, are you exceeding your monthly expenses in voiceover income? And if you're not, well, you're not ready to go full-time, as in have voiceover as your only job yet, but you don't necessarily need to. So if you're not there and you're itching to get out, let's say you're at a job that you can't stand, the manager's a dick, or you've just been there too long and it's just sucking the life right out of you. I'm not saying to sit in that job, especially if it conflicts with voiceover. There's another route you can go. Let's say you're working that job and you hate it. What you can do is get another job. Think of a job that you can do that you wouldn't mind doing that doesn't conflict with voiceover. I recommend hospitality all the time to people, especially if you haven't worked in like a restaurant or a club or a bar. There's a lot of camaraderie in that place. It's a nice way to stay social, especially as I mentioned earlier, how voiceover isn't that social. You crave human attention when you're doing voiceover all the time. I'm locked up in a closet or a studio all the time. I can't wait to get out and talk to people. I've actually recently considered getting a nightclub management job just to be social, just one night a week. I don't have time to do it right now, and my community takes up a lot of my time, and that's another way you can stay social in voiceover. But if you're in a job you hate and it's a 9 to 5 and you can't wait to to get out and you want to do voiceover full time, but your income in voiceover isn't there yet, then go get a hospitality job as a bartender, a waiter, a cook in the kitchen, even just a dishwasher. Something that's, I wouldn't recommend management. I enjoyed it because I did it for a long time and it was a cakewalk for me. But you kind of want to get a job that you can just show up to, be social, go through the motions, and it takes some of the pressure off of voiceover, having to make a certain amount every month. Do that for a while before you start making the income in voiceover that you need in order to make it your only and sole job. And who knows, you might just like it. I'll tell you this, in the latter years of nightclub management, before I found voiceover, it was weighing on me a lot. I knew I couldn't do it forever, and I've talked about this before, and I felt like it was aging me too. As soon as I found voiceover and I was making more money in voiceover than I was in the nightclub management job, that nightclub management job, because it wasn't my only source of income anymore, I enjoyed it so much more. I cut down my hours to something that was manageable, and I did it as more of like a social thing. But it was great because it also put food on the table. In any months that I had that weren't great in voiceover, that picked up the slack. And I had two great incomes, a full-time income in voiceover and a full-time income in management for a nightclub at part-time. I was in a very good position, but you don't have to have years of nightclub management experience to do what I was doing. You can go and get a job with no experience in a restaurant, in a bar, as a waiter. You can go work in a warehouse at night. You can work evening shifts in a grocery store. What I suggest is get into any job part-time that's in the evening hours, that doesn't kill you, something that you might actually like to do. And don't think about it like, let's say you're like an executive and you're getting into voiceover and you don't want to be working corporate anymore, but you feel like working in hospitality or some kind of service job is like a step down for you. Don't let your ego get involved. You might actually enjoy it, So what I want you to do, get a pen and a piece of paper, write down 20 jobs that don't conflict with voiceover that you think you might like to do. Then start looking for them. Do that. That is the best route to becoming a full-time voice actor, because now you've freed up your entire day. You're not worried about booking, and you're actually becoming a full-time voice actor. It's your only job throughout the week, at least in the daytime, and you're able to put in the reps, do all the auditions. Your job isn't getting in the way. And then at the end of your workday for voiceover, you go to a job that pays you a bit of money and gives you some social time. And then once your income in voiceover starts increasing over time and it's getting closer to the amount that you need in order to feed your family and make all your monthly bill payments and your rent or mortgage or whatever it is, then you start dwindling down the hours at the part-time job. And you might stick at that for a while. It could be years. Who knows if you really like it, or if you decide it's not for you and you're ready to go full-time in voiceover, then you do it. But have some money saved up and make sure that you're making more money already in voiceover per month than you need. Don't just quit your job and go full-time in voiceover and think, oh, I'm just gonna put in the hours and I'm gonna make it, because you're gonna put yourself in a bad position. And I can tell you right now, there is nothing that will drive jobs and casting directors away faster than desperation. They can hear it in your voice. Don't put yourself in a desperate position. Be humble. Go get a part-time job that doesn't require any outside effort, where your boss isn't texting you all the time and you don't have to make reports and all that kind of stuff. Just go get a regular hospitality job. It's fun. It's social and interactive, and it breathes life back into you. That's what I would recommend anyway. If hospitality is not your thing, just think, like I said, write down all the types of jobs that you might like that don't conflict with voiceover, and go do that. Go do that part-time while you're growing your voiceover business. But don't go full-time in voiceover until you're making a full-time income from it. And that's how you do it, in my opinion. Now, if you are just starting on your voiceover journey and you want some direction and help, check the links below. There's many ways to get help and work with me. Get help. I sound like a drug counselor. If you need help, call the number. No. Check out the links below. There's a link to my community. There's a link to a call with me. We can jump on a call for 15 minutes. I can give you some direction. I have a course as well. All that stuff's in the link below if you want to check it out. Also, huge announcement. I am giving away my full 6-week voiceover Jumpstart course. It teaches you everything you need to know about going from knowing nothing in voiceover to all the things you need to know to be a working professional. Plus, you get 4 one-hour-long one-on-ones with me, and you get lifetime membership to my community. I'm giving that away to one lucky person inside of my community June 1st. All you got to do to enter is join the community. So if that interests you, like I said, check out the links below. Other than that, I hope this was helpful, and I promise you I will make more of these, you guys. I wasn't slacking. I've been working really hard at my community and hard in voiceover and all that kind of jazz. But I am back, and you can expect to see more of these. And thank you so much for everybody supporting. And all of you who haven't subscribed, please subscribe. What are you doing? Like 90-something% of people still aren't subscribed. But all of you that have been subscribing, thank you very much. All right, you guys. You've been an audience. I've been cheesy. Thank you very much, and we will see you in the next one.